Now, y'all may have seen this before, but I never had. I was just hoping there'd be a place that I could use the bathroom, maybe get something to eat or drink when I was charging the car, because I got superchargers behind me, and I came to a Buc-ee's, and this is a totally different world. It has been 1 week since I gave up the lease on my apartment. I packed everything I own into my car and I started traveling the country. And just in this past week, I've been to Chattanooga and Nashville and Tennessee, been to a horse rescue in Mena, Arkansas, been to Oklahoma City, and now I'm in Vegas. And I'm actually getting on a plane to fly back to Virginia today because I got a couple side quests, and Vegas was one of those side quests, but we'll get to that. So I took off early the morning of the 1st. I got up, I couldn't sleep, I was so excited, I was so nervous, and I wandered around the town that I grew up in. I wandered around the downtown mall, kind of saying goodbye to the people into the place. Then I got in my car and I drove. And I know as soon as I crossed that line, as soon as I left the city and I saw myself going up over the mountains, I got incredibly emotional. Because I've been wanting to leave for my entire life. As a kid, I wanted to get away, but I didn't feel like I could, or I didn't feel like I had permission to. Then I went to prison. And then all of a sudden I'm out, but I'm on probation, so I can travel, but I can't stay away for long, and I need travel passes, and there are all these things. So as soon as I got off probation, I realized I want to see the country. I want to travel. I want to find the world. I want to find myself. I want to have these experiences. Even in the first week, it has been a bizarre collection of experiences. So the first thing that really kind of took my breath away was Buc-ee's. If you've never been to a Buc-ee's, it is not a gas station, it is not a convenience store, it is like a metropolis, a city in itself. I mean, this doesn't look like a gas station, this looks like a supermarket.
There were probably 100 stalls where you could get gas. The place was bigger than Walmart. It was mind-boggling. So I went there to charge my car because I have an electric car, so I have to kind of plan my route around where I can stop to charge. And sometimes you'll be at a hotel parking lot, sometimes you'll be at a gas station, sometimes you'll be in the middle of nowhere and there's really nothing to do. And usually I'm thinking, hey, if I can run to the bathroom, if I can grab something to eat, or I have a bunch of dry food and cold food in my car, I'll like cook myself something or grab myself something there. But I got to Buc-ee's and I realized I could have literally anything I wanted. They have one of those like giant stuffed animal characters inside that takes pictures with kids. They've got pizza and food and, again, anything you can possibly think of. Like, they have an entire Buc-ee's merchandise section. And again, the scope of it, unless you've been there, it's really hard to describe. It dwarfs everything I've ever seen as far as a gas station or a convenience store, or even, like I said, a Walmart. So going there, it was like, okay, cool, there are a lot of people on the road. It gave me some perspective on how many people travel and how many people are out and how many people are interested in seeing the world or driving trucking. And actually, at the start charging station right next to me was a guy who had one of the big roof-toppers on his Tesla. And I was like, hey man, can I ask you about it? You know, a lot of people are very kind of like, not friendly or whatever at public places, but Tesla people, for whatever reason, always talk to each other. Rolled down the window and getting out to talk to me. He said, yeah man, it's life-changing. He said, I've been living in my car for 6 weeks. I love it. I got all my climbing gear, all my kind of like play stuff up there. It works great. That was when I realized, all right, it's going to be a couple $100 and I don't really have the money right now, but eventually I'm going to get one of those to make my journey a little bit easier. From there, I went on and I got to go to Chattanooga. So the place, it's called Common House. It's a social club. It's a co-working space. It's a bar. It's a restaurant. We have one in Charlottesville. That's where the first one was started. And I loved it so much that I originally went there as a guest. And then I became a Common Ground member, which basically meant if you don't have the money to join, but you bring an interesting perspective, they'll sponsor you for membership. So they gave me that for a year. I became a member and I liked it so much and I was there so much that they were basically like, Jesse, why don't you just like work a couple shifts? You'll get an employee discount. You get it, you know, if you're going to be here, why not make money rather than spend money? So I said, yeah. So I fell in love with the place and I want to see all the Common Houses across the country. So they have one in Charlottesville, one in Richmond, one in Chattanooga, and one in New Orleans. I've actually been to the Charlottesville, Richmond, and now the Chattanooga, but I wanted to go. I wanted to see what it looked like because it was this old YMCA. Such a cool building. It has rooms upstairs so you can actually rent a hotel room. You can stop and stay for the night. It's got massive things for events. It's got a gym. It's got a pool. It's got just anything you can think of. It's this beautiful rooftop terrace, and it's in a really cute part of Chattanooga. I really like the city of Chattanooga because it was affordable and it was walkable and it was just, there was a lot there. So I had that experience. I got to go in, I got to see the ballrooms, and I was actually going for a pool party. Now, a couple things happened. One, traffic was worse than I thought. Two, I ended up having to charge longer than I thought for unforeseen circumstances. So by the time I got to the pool party, they were basically running away because there'd been a massive storm and things had kind of fallen apart. But I caught the tail end of it. I talked to the people that work there. I talked to a couple people that were guests. They just absolutely love it. They say like that's their third place. Their place away from home and away from work where they feel most connected and most comfortable. And that's how I always felt in Charlottesville. So again, I'm excited to see the one in New Orleans. I'm excited to kind of like share the journey because if people are in a position, whether it's a Common Ground member or a paid member to join, one of my favorite places in the world. From there, I went out to Nashville and was going to see my uncle because again, originally I was planning on sleeping in my car, but my uncle was like, bro, if you're coming through the city, why don't you stay with me? Like I got guest rooms. I got multiple guest rooms. Like we can make this happen. We played darts and we hung out and we talked and we kind of told stories and compared where we're at in life. It's always nice to do that with like kind of distant family that you don't really talk to all the time, but you have that bond with or that history with and you get to connect with. So enjoyed hanging out with my uncle, got up early in the morning, took off and headed to Arkansas. And it was an interesting route to get there. But this horse farm in Arkansas is one of those places that just have my heart. It's a place where when I go there, I sleep better than normal. I feel more comfortable than normal. It's kind of like I just come back into myself. And it's run by Dawn Oliveri, who's on Yellowstone. And I think she worked in TV and film for so long that she realized, I want to do something more than this. I want to do something other than just kind of be on screen. She always says, I go from the red line to the front line. She's out there rescuing horses, running the farm. It's just awesome to see. And Dawn actually wasn't there this week. We were planning on like going, talking, doing content together, but she got called away for filming. So I met with the people who work on the farm, met with Emma and Debbie and everybody who was just amazing, with Shannon and Michelle. And they were so cool. They invited me in and they showed me small town hospitality. Because I think before I'd ever gone down there, I had some preconceived notions about rural Arkansas, what it might look like or what it might be like. But what I saw was like kindness and courtesy and generosity. At the same time, I didn't see that much diversity. But what I saw was a positive. Like obviously there's some negatives, there's some things to be concerned about. But when I got there, they said, hey, you can't be driving a Tesla around like it's going to destroy your car. Some of the roads are really rough. So they were going to give me a truck. Debbie comes over and she's taking me to the truck and it won't start. She says, oh, well, let's go back to my place and get jumper cables. Go back there. They've got a whole family dinner laid out. She feeds me. She talks to me. She tells me the story of, how long her family's been there and who does what and what they're doing. It just felt like comfortable. It felt like a community. It felt like a home. Couldn't find the jumper cables. So went to go talk to the guy who runs the tire shop in town. He gave us one of those charging units and drove us back to the truck and got it started and told me to hang on to the charging unit. It was just, again, these amazing neighborly things that I don't see in cities. I don't see people go out of their way and spend hours to help a person just because they're in town and just because they need it. And those are the community things that I really like.
Hey, dear, I've got a big truck, but I don't want to hit a deer, so let's get out of the road. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. I do have to say that this is a good experience. Driving a 1970 farm truck in rural Arkansas, doing farm work, all the stuff. Whee, come on, one lane. Let's make it. I worked the farm. The roof had some damage from wind damage where panels have been pulled up. So we managed to get a roof back on the barn. And it's not perfect, but it's functional because, it's a nonprofit. They're running basically at a deficit. She put up a lot of money to start. She's getting some donations, but the whole goal is like, how do we save these horses? How do we make it work? How do we make it good enough? So we'll use scrap, we'll use lumber, we'll use whatever we can find. I had to go get all the self-tappers and the bits and stuff we needed. And now that I'm back from the store, it's time to go to work. If you're thinking to yourself, that this is not an OSHA-approved activity, you would be right. But we are going to make it work. There's a guy down the road who's actually milling his own cabin, so we're using all the cast off from that to do some siding and build some stalls. We're just making it work so we can take care of more horses. And while I was there, it's not just horses. There are horses, there are mules, there are donkeys, there are goats, there are sheep, there are chickens, there are hens, there's a fox, there's a ducks, there's anything you can think of. And the cutest puppy I've ever seen in my life. Oh. You wanna play, pup? And at this point, Dawn had told me she was going to give me the trailer that was on the property that I can go stay there whenever I want. They'd now give me a truck that I can use every time I'm there. And then she tried to give me a puppy. Now, this feels like a setup. You get a guy with a big soft heart like me, and you tell me I'm going to give you a truck and a trailer and a puppy. Come make this your home. That's a hard offer to turn down. And I really do like it there. But I think I like the city. I liked what I did in Nashville. I like Chattanooga. I like the places I'm going. I like Vegas. This was a pretty amazing experience. And I want to have those experiences. I want to be able to share in both. So I don't know that I'll ever just go live on the farm and have that be the only thing that I do, but it's a place that I'm going to keep going back to. So when I can take road trips and when I can have these experiences, it's something I really cherish because I didn't realize this was going to be possible. You got to remember, 3 years ago, I walked out the door having no idea what to expect, not knowing whether I'd be accepted, not knowing whether I'd be kind of shunned for the rest of my life, and instead finding open doors and open arms almost everywhere that I've gone. So from the farm, I just say goodbye to the puppy. It absolutely broke my heart, but I went on to Oklahoma City where I met a fellow content creator, a guy who I really admire, who has basically turned his life around and shares that journey. He's now walking across the country, sharing stories about historically black colleges and universities, talking about black history, talking about racism in America. Just extraordinary guy. The thing is, I can relate to him because he's kind of a second chancer. He turned his life around because he was the racist guy. He was the guy who grew up in that family, who believed those things, and when he went to prison, he realized, hey, like, this doesn't make sense. How can I get a better understanding?
So a few years after he gets out of prison, he's on stage at the Apollo telling his story. And if you're at the Apollo Theater and you walk out and the first thing you say is, hey, I'm a former racist and I'm here to talk to you about historically black colleges and universities, you could understand there was some like trepidation or whatever, but he ended up with a standing ovation. And he now goes across the country, he's connected to all sorts of people, and his goal is he wants to put 50 kids through college on a full ride. So doing this walk and connecting with sponsors is his way of trying to raise money to make that happen. You find somebody where that's their life mission, they're just literally walking across the country, trying to figure out how to support kids, like, awesome person. He actually bought me a hotel room, so I was planning on staying in my car in Oklahoma. I was like, cool, just go ahead and crash and then go to the airport in the morning. But no, the first thing he did was hand me a hotel key, and he said, man, when I first got started, people helped me out. I want to help you out. I love this journey. I love what you're doing. Like, yeah, enjoy yourself. So there I met people at the hotel. Like, one of the people was amazing. One of the people was a content creator and said, oh, I really love what you're doing. Offered me friends and family benefits. Just, again, you can't really beat this. From there, I fly to Vegas because I got an email a few weeks ago that said, hey, would you be interested in coming out to Vegas for a content creator house, talking about issues that are relevant to our kind of our political world or our like value-based world? And there were some briefings, there was some interaction. It was just people from all kind of walks of life, all different areas, different niches. Like some people were political, some people were lifestyle, some people did mom content, some people, talk mostly about prison and travel. Being in the room or being in the house with all these people was great. Now, on top of that, I went to a club for the first time in my life. I'm 39 years old and I'd never been to a club, but I had that experience and it was a lot. Yesterday we went to Area 51. It's an art installation by Yo Wolf. I cannot describe the scope of this place. I cannot describe the experience of this place. It is just imagine the biggest warehouse you've ever seen, that the entire thing is done up as like a functional piece of the movie Alien or the movie something along those lines. It is sci-fi, it's interactive, it's comprehensive, again, you have like a little DJ booth at the top with these very futuristic looking buttons that control the lights and the sound for the rest of the warehouse. You interact with people and you can talk through the phones that are there. You can interact through the computers that are there. There are missions and quests you can do for a special boop card that will open things and unlock opportunities. And if you're in Vegas and you want a surreal experience, you're gonna think somebody put something in your water, go to Area 51. It was absolutely amazing. And this is not Area 51, the military installation, by the way. This is an art installation in downtown Vegas. I mean, going out and just meeting people. I met somebody on the plane, ended up running into them in a hotel. I was like, cool, let's go talk, let's go meet people. I ended up there was somebody out there for a baby shower. I ended up talking to that whole group of people and getting to know them. I got to meet the people in the house. I got to meet some of their friends and content creators in Vegas. And I think that's my favorite thing, and that's what I like most about this journey is, how do I get out and just meet people? How do I get out and have experiences? How do I get out? And usually what I do is when I go to a place is I want to know, what is a local experience? Like, where's your coffee shop? Where's your restaurant? Like, if you were going to go, where would you go? Don't tell me the touristy thing. Don't tell me the good thing. That was how we get the best taco. It's the best quesadilla I've ever had in Oklahoma City. Because we asked the lady at the hotel, I was like, look, where's the best hole-in-the-wall Mexican restaurant you can find? And she looked at us and she said, are you sure? I said, yeah. She said, well, it's in a gas station and like they don't speak English and they only take cash. I was like, cool, that is perfect. So sure enough, we go to Pollo a la Orden, and the food was just dynamic. It was amazing. We walked in, they were like, are you sure you're in the right spot? I said, yep. Ordered some stuff, got some ceviche, which not what I was expecting, with shrimp in the middle of Oklahoma. Everything was extraordinary. It was extremely affordable. Had a great experience. Was able to buy George dinner for getting in the hotel room. I got to have these experiences. I'm looking forward to this trip. I hear sirens right now, so Vegas is a pretty happening place. I'm getting on a plane in, just a few hours. And when I get on that plane, I'm headed back to Virginia and then up to New York and then back to Oklahoma to get my car and to continue this journey. And I keep getting these side quests. I keep getting invited to the kind of like private showings after Fashion Week in New York City, which is amazing. Like, who doesn't want to go to that? I don't even really like fashion or care about fashion, but what a cool experience. Like, what a cool invitation to get. I've got friends in Colorado that I'm going to go see. I've got people in Boulder and Denver that I'm going to go see professionally, talking about the nonprofit, talking about some reentry work. It's just, everywhere I go, people are doing great things. I have the chance to meet them. I have the chance to eat the food, have the conversations, and I could not be more grateful. And another big part of it is the invitations I've gotten from people on the internet. People say, hey, if you stop by, like, you got a safe place to park your car or charge your car. Hey, we've got a guest room. Hey, we've got a couch. Hey, we've got a guest house. Hey, we've got a whole cabin by the lake. Go take it, bring your friends. And it's just that kind of welcome. Again, I never could have imagined that I would getting out of prison. Never thought that people would be like, we like you and you add value to our lives. We want you around. So I'm grateful. I'm happy. I'm ready to leave Vegas after 2 days because it has been a lot of fun, but also I'm ready to be somewhere other than here. But I will be back through here after Colorado. I'm on my way down to SoCal, down to San Diego, Tijuana, and then LA and above. I'm being pulled off for side quest. I'm being asked to maybe go to work with an animal program, being asked to maybe go fly into another city. And I'm going to say yes. Like, if I had the opportunity, I'm going to say yes to all these really cool things because they're experiences I want to have and they're things that I want to share with you. And I appreciate you being along for the journey.